Welcome to Gas, Poetry, Art, and Music. I'm your host, Belinda Subraman.
Hi, Belinda.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, Andy.
Hi.
Anyway, I did look up some info on you, and I find it interesting that you were born in a bomb shelter in Belgium. Were your parents from Belgium?
My biological parents both, yes. My biological father met an American GI in a bar, took him home, and then a bunch of stuff happened, and eventually I got traded for the furniture.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, when did you get to the US?
The last time was 49.
Okay. Well, also, you wound up in the Marines at some point, right?
Yes, I was in the Marine Corps for a while, yeah.
And what was your journey from being a Marine to being a well-known, respected beat poet?
Well, there were a lot of factors. I would say one of them, to be honest, was LSD. That really changed my direction. I saw at a friend's house a poster with a couple of kids who were really disfigured, and I said, "What's that?" Said, "Oh, it's napalm." Oh, and then I saw Allen Ginsberg do Wichita Vortex Sutra on TV, and there's a line where he goes, "Has anyone looked in the eyes of the dead?" And they zeroed in on his eyes, and I said, "I'm getting out of there. I don't want to be part of that." And
so LSD opened your mind, and you knew there was so much more to life than what you were told when you were little. Is that it? And you wanted to?
Oh yeah, that's well said, actually.
Yeah, and you wanted to explore this great universe out there. And did listening to Ginsberg then that helped to open your mind, and you wanted to be a part of that?
Well, yes, I read Kerouac first. Somebody told me that Big Sur was like this guy thinks like you do when you're on acid. Little did I realize that it was he was having alcohol withdrawals. But and then I read the forward to Desolation Angels by Seymour Krim, who I did meet and read with. He said who the characters were, so I went and bought an Allen Ginsberg book, a Gregory Corso book, and a Bob Kaufman book. And I thought this was the greatest stuff. This is going to be bigger than baseball when people know about it. This was the greatest thing I'd ever. It was funny. It was smart. They were wild and having a good time, yet that they were intelligent. And it was. I thought, wow, what this is my career.
Well, you must have started writing your own poetry pretty soon after hearing.
Oh yeah, I was trying to write my own howl every other week. I was filling up notebooks, throwing them away, writing. Thousands of pages I've thrown away. 10,000 myriads.
Okay. Did you perform before you were published?
All of it. All of it. When and not. I lived with Janine Palmy Vega, and she would work her poems. And I said, "Why do you spend so much time? You've been a week on an 8-line poem." She says, "Oh, they're my children, and I take care of them and stuff." Well, myself, I was like going all around fathering children and throwing the notebook over my shoulder. But I something new, do something new. And
but you were a good performer, like right off in the beginning, right? I'm guessing, because I know that you impressed Allen Ginsberg a lot.
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, I always admired orators, more than poets. Orators, I thought like the Spartacus, telling the people that they have to do this to gain freedom, and great speeches always inspired me, and so I took it from that. But listening to Ginsberg and Kerouac too, Erich, also influenced my style. Alan, I met Alan at actually really met him at the Anchor Beer Brewing Company. They had a party for the poets, and there was like 33 poets there and stuff. And Alan showed up, and when he showed up, there's about 11 of us in the brewery dancing around naked. And that really impressed Alan. I did it again and took my clothes off in Denver, but we had to get out of town. They called the cops, and so I went to Chicago and hid out from the riot. It was 68, and Alan was there at that. Jerry Rubin. I've written about all this stuff.
When did you actually become friends with Alan? Because he did write.
And I'd say 68, and though we had talked in 66, and then I wrote him letters and stuff, and he wrote me back and said he really enjoyed this little book that I sent him, and I went to his farm in Cherry Valley, New York. I think it was 1970, and hung out there. And from then on, we were pretty good friends. And I took care of the farm in the 80s for a year or two, and I read with him quite a few times. He even split the gate with me a couple of times, which was very helpful.
And he wrote the introduction to your book, Without Doubt, from
Yes, he did.
Press. That's very nice.
Oh yeah, there's some stuff on the internet about when he and Gregory decided that if there was going to be a poet that was going to carry the beat tradition on, it would be me. And it's right there. But I didn't have the success you would think that with those people behind me that you would think I would have. And I think it's because of my bad personality. I'm not that likable of a person, and I think that's really what did it.
Come on. You're probably all right.
Yeah, I thought so, but
do you have a couple of poems that you'd like to read?
Sure. I'll read this one here. It's called "Is There Poetry the Virus Can't Invade?" Have international powers announced the radical direction away from fossil fuel? Has the world decided to cut back on meat? Can we have police who defend all economic classes, who rarely use their weapons, who don't kill people they fear want to replace them, who don't kill innocents? How radioactive is the Pacific? Is every fish a potential mini Godzilla? How soon will that big Greenland iceberg calve? Will Europe endure 40 Celsius days? Will Siberia swelter in 100-degree Fahrenheit? What will evacuating for hurricanes do to the pandemic? What will millions upon millions of the poor do in India to survive months of 120-degree days? Where will they go? Baseball season opened up. It's almost August. Other sports will open soon, maybe. Experts say, headlines say, shut everything down or life will be frightening more than we've known in a long, long time. Deaths will overwhelm our medical and economic systems. What can we trust? The growth out the window bolsters my mind, imprisoned in an arthritic shell. Despite the ache, stabs, burning, the mulish legs the diatribing, constipated guts, the weary neck, the wounded, always sore feet, the terrifying, is this forever shoulder pain? We stick around to witness the fecund motion of replenishing earth because we trust? Yes. We trust the inspiration of the dignity of trees, the plenum of grasses, the tamed hedges and flowers, the wild ones too, and copious streams. We trust the mad orchestra of insects and bees, the hypnotic waltz of the clouds, the oscillating waves of deionized elements, charging the air that peppers the nape of our necks and fills our lungs and surges through our chest and loins. We trust the scurry of the little warm-bloodeds, the snip-snap of kindling branches under root and paw. We trust the ability and freedom to study the fish in the still side pools of the big rivers and burbling rills. We trust the Milky Way lights of the distant city of romance, Paris, Denver, Tashkent, Calgary, Lisbon, Tangier, Istanbul, Dushanbe, Samarkand, Prague, Calcutta, Baghdad by the bay. They reassure like red sky at twilight, a voyager's delight. Yet some days the verdure appears artificial or contaminated. The sky monotonous and endless joke. The dirt as only potential mire. The squirrels, rats with bushy tails. The food tastes like chemistry experiments. The river is a sewer. The city a danger and charnel. Everyone you loved you view with a disappointed, sorrowful, sour suspicion. Yet even on those days, I know we have the makings to be a magnanimous people. No, it won't be perfect, but it could be much better than this. Much better. Courage, intelligence, decency, liberty and justice for all. For all. Everyone. For all.
Thank you. That's very nice. Well, I guess we'll sign off, and thank you so much for talking with me and for reading your poem.
Okay, no.
Morning with Burroughs. Morning comes, come on, keep coming. Don't stop until darkness calls me down for dinner. What'll it be, fish tonight? Yeah, fish is alright, but get the story straight. The sun squints through a window in a room where time is broken. When morning shows up again, I sit at the table and gaze at linoleum. Back in the day, there was nothing to get strung about. Crash through a doorway, burn one more bridge, it never mattered in the morning. I misplaced the next paragraph. Maybe it disappeared in that pile of crap over there, festering on the naked floor. Or damn it, I'll ask the editor. He tracks my daily execution. Will it be corn with your fish tonight? Yeah, I may take a bite, but maybe I'll take a deep breath too and think about that apple on your head. An accident waiting to happen. In a world waking up very slowly.
Hi there, I'm Nathan. I'm a poet from Michigan, live in Baltimore now, although in between Michigan and Baltimore, I lived for long periods of time in places like Ecuador and Kansas and Vienna, which is in this nice picture behind me. I'm here with 3 poems that I wrote in 3 short ones from 1997 that I wrote in a little hut in the jungle on 3 different nights. The first one is called Awake at Night in the Forest. I love punctuation marks, cat's cradles, white bread, mayonnaise, all kinds of cheese, lettuce, tomato, a little onion. I love the river rising at dusk with a noise like the ocean, rising all night, bearing branches and whole trees to the sound of the rain. I love cicadas droning musically all night in stereo, and crickets calling thoughtfully for love and attention. I love family and friends, friends and family, and the continuous night that whirls around the world, hiding from the sun, manifesting multitudinous, mellifluous shades of black. Number 2, Night Moves. If you're just joining us now, we're in Ecuador in 1997 in a little hut in the jungle. Night moves. A motorboat navigates upriver in darkness. One of my friends is snoring. Cicadas are whirring. The candle by whose light I'm writing is losing wax fast, its flame blown by the wind. Insects keep biting my back. I speak with the silent voice I use in dreams. My eyes are speaking their mind, my ears speaking through my writing hand, while a bat navigates upwind in darkness lit by sound. The wind brings out the voice of the trees. I stay up late watching this poem sprout between my hands. All around, tree frogs are singing. Last one, called Rhyme with the Wind. Rhyme is reason. That's what the leaves seem to say. The earth gave us so much today. Near Joaquin's old house, a lemon tree bearing grapefruit-sized lemons like wrinkled suns. And later there was a poem in the form of a palm tree leaning over an arcane river. But how those huge lemons rhyme with the sun, the old wrinkly sun. Plants were erupting in the jungle today like very slow green sparks. And the bellflower bushes keep spitting up huge white flowers to insult and tantalize us. As I write this, my 2 baby boas are gliding slowly over my hands, flicking their tongues out from time to time to catch molecules drifting along the slowly gliding wind. How these 2 little snakes rhyme with the wind. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was nice. All righty. Bye-bye.
Depression. People speak of this as if it were not an actual curse. Something most often passed down through generations, like fair hair and soft eyes. As a child, I remember my grandmother's picture of Jesus in our upstairs hallway, resting on top of a box filled with other family mementos and praying to him for just one day without tears, where my parents didn't fight and I wasn't afraid. I guess I was 5 years old when I turned away from all that Christian indoctrination I was receiving in school. All of my life I have battled with this curse. It manifests itself in my insomnia, my overindulgence in food, drugs, irresponsible sex. It manifests itself in the tears strangers find falling from my eyes. When alone, I chain smoke cigarettes while on break at work. Depression has had me load the gun, load the needle, softly caress my jugular with a finely sharpened paring knife. Like my shadow, it has been with me since the sun first kissed my skin in birth. Dark and rainy days make me smile because I close my eyes and all I see is my father in that coffin, body riddled with bullets, and the girl I thought I was gonna marry, dead on her daughter's floor. And this monster in the mirror that the system just tossed away to the wolves. Depression will take away our dreams in a nod, our spirituality in a false pharmaceutical god. Depression will swallow us like a black hole.
Thank you.
One rolled down the hill just to please her, and her green eyes. One sat on the windowsill, dove and sparrowed, before the top light. There's a song above the water. There's a song beneath the sky. The day gone is just a day gone. There is no reason why. Tide was whispering sighs, ruling with slow eyes over spidery beach. I see no reason now to bereave the winged creature his goodbye. There's a song above the water. There's a song beneath the sky. The day gone is just a day gone. There is no reason why. and her green eyes. One sat on the windowsill, Tufton sparrow, before the topped light. There's a song above the water, there's a song beneath the sky. A day gone is just a day gone. There is no reason why. There's a song above the water, there's a song beneath the sky. A day gone is just a day gone. There is no reason why.
So Jose, you've been a public defender in California for years and just retired.
Yeah, I've been a public defender for about 34 years and retired, and have been writing mostly essays for newspapers and some other stuff. And I'd always enjoyed poetry, reading it quite a bit. I was a big fan of, obviously the T.S. Eliots and the E. Cummings and all of the differing poets I also came to know Robert Hass, and I started reading Robert Hass's work, and he taught at the college I went to, St. Mary's College, and we met many years after that. And I just became interested in a lot of the stuff that he was doing, and then I just started seeing a lot of poetry, blogs and other things like that, and just enjoyed it. And I thought, nobody's ever going to, read my poetry, so I can just have fun doing whatever I want to do.
Well, when you were still working, did you occasionally write a little bit? Because my opinion is your writing is not like, it's like you've been doing it for a while. Or
I wrote, and I wrote short stories, and I more than anything else, I just enjoyed reading, and I think a lot of my writing was just, in some senses, mimicking, imitating, and at the same time, just trying to figure out, the way that I was going to use language. I really became very, very interested in kind of the history of how writers were, impacted, right? And the writers that they looked at, right? And whether it's Toni Morrison or Gabriel Garcia Marquez, or everybody seemed to go back to Don Quixote. They all went back to Don Quixote and spoke about what an impact it had on them. Mark Twain even, included Don Quixote in Huckleberry Finn in one line, right? And so I just kept kind of following all these things. Faulkner, the same thing. And what I started realizing is that everybody who seemed to really look to Don Quixote as a influence simply was writing about their own history. They were writing about their own history, their own little, as Faulkner said, the postage stamp that we're each given, right? And I just started realizing that as a youngster, I had this notion that you had to have this, universal sort of telescope. And the more I aged and the more I saw things, in my career and saw the foibles and the tragedies and the triumphs of the human spirit in the criminal justice system, I started realizing it really is a microscope. That the more that you were able to microscope into the reality of people's lives, the more significance it had, right? And for me, a lot of the writing that I did, believe it or not, was writing my closing arguments. I would constantly try to figure out what is the theme that really comes to this story, and it would take me sometimes, a tremendous amount of time, and sometimes the cohesion of the theme would only happen at the very last minute. All of a sudden, you just kind of go, "That's what it is."
Well, I mean, you mentioned about the microcosm, but the microcosm that connects to the macrocosm,
Yeah.
is all, which you're the work that you did for so long as a public defender. I can see how that connects. Do you have a couple of poems handy?
I do. I have, this is the book that I self-published called Brushes with Life. And this is, my girlfriend painted this. This is a painting of me. We were in Mexico City and they had a Van Gogh bedroom exhibit. And so I just sat in and she took a picture, and then it became that process. And a lot of the poems that are in here, believe it or not, were actually poems that were written to commemorate tragedy. Because I started seeing a lot of hurt in this country, Parkland, the shootings in Vegas, just all these things. And I thought, most of these things are just going to just fly away, and then people won't remember them, right? The horrific thing that happened in El Paso, and people sort of think about it, but does it have the impact? No, because something new has happened, right? And so the goal of sort of being a present date poetry, historian was something that came, to me. And so that's why I started writing poetry, because the tragedies just hit me so hard. And in between then, childhood memories came up, and I just started writing and keeping things in. This is a poem called On the Path to the Stairs at Montera State Beach. And it actually begins with a quote from Francis Bacon's Essay of Gardens. So I have made a platform of a princely garden, partly by precept, partly by drawing, not a model, but some general lines of it. On the path to the stairs at Montera State Beach. Walks by misty ocean-sprayed stairs open your lungs and heart to moments without care. And the path does it as easily as a feather along your skin, floating goosebumps on its way. And the gardens you pass glisten, pomade on a lad's curls, hairspray on a well-coiffed prom girl's. Murky after rain air carries smell of fish, seaweed, roots, and hidden despair, like cork Zinfandel or too warm Chardonnay. But the sun does what it does. Dew now shines, smells of pine, eucalyptus, sage, mixed to create a smell that is as heaven is to the universe. And I open my mouth to eat it all in, breathe as if my last, and recall that a walk like a garden has a form, but in its telling becomes so much more.
Thank you so much, Jose.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
New Age Shakespearean death. The self-dagger of failure, lessons, life seen as it is, half-truths of illusion fade, a slower, deeper awe meets mild tingles, lingering still. On a journey we can't prove, a mission we can't explain, stars become the map, we begin connecting dots. Space is felt across dimensions, our bodies grow toward Earth. Static crinkles the airwaves. Pupils and pores are shocked open. Screaming love, shedding and renewing as we go. Through wavering auras, invisible antennae, we read and are read subconsciously, like saguaro cacti with the moon in its arms, with the sacred scent of sage wafting through the sky's embrace. We understand Van Gogh's skies, feel the earth breathe, feel the glitter dance of stars. Vibrations alone take our breath away. Thank you for listening and watching Gas, Poetry, Art, and Music. If you'd like to encourage us, please subscribe to our channel, like, comment if you will, share, and tell your friends about our project. And we hope to see you next time.